Perched on the steep hills of the upper Yangtze River in southwestern China, Chongqing is a city of bold flavors, dizzying skylines, and relentless energy. Its dramatic geography has earned it a fitting nickname, the Mountain City. And it's here that Nguyen Thi Lan has established a beautiful home and a thriving career.
In Vietnam, our cuisine tends to be light and mild, but here in Chongqing, people love numbing spicy flavors. When I first arrived, it took some time for me to adjust.
In 2011, Lan boarded a flight from Hanoi to Chongqing to pursue higher education. At 22, she had no idea just how much that decision would reshape the course of her life. What began as a student's journey soon blossomed into something much bigger, a new life and a deep sense of belonging in a once unfamiliar city. At first, Chongqing's fiery cuisine was a shock to her senses, but with time, she didn't just adapt, she fell in love with it. Now she proudly declares her favorite dish is Chongqing hot pot. She has conquered the spicy chili and tongue-tingling Sichuan peppercorns. Born and raised in the suburbs of Hanoi, Lan is the youngest in her family, with 2 elder brothers. Looking back, she says her parents left a quiet but lasting mark on the path she would eventually take. Her mother ran a fabric and clothing business. Without knowing it, the way she did business planted the early seeds of Lan's future as an entrepreneur. Meanwhile, her father had a deep appreciation for Chinese culture.
My dad often wore the tan suit, a traditional Chinese jacket with knotted buttons. Maybe it was his influence since childhood. I've been fascinated by Chinese culture.
From Chinese TV dramas to translated novels, Lan says Chinese stories accompanied her childhood. Motivated by this interest, Lan ultimately chose to study Chinese at university in Hanoi, though at the time it wasn't as popular as it is today. There was only one Chinese class at her university, with no more than 30 students. But the learning curve was rather steep. Lan struggled with her grades, and especially with spoken Chinese in the beginning.
Chinese pronunciation, grammar, and characters are so different from Vietnamese. The tones were especially tricky. The grammar structure felt unfamiliar. Vietnamese characters are based on the Latin alphabet, whereas the Chinese characters are like little drawings, which posed great challenges. It really tested my patience and focus.
But she was determined to improve. Together with her classmates, Lan visited popular tourist spots in the city to chat with Chinese visitors. Her hard work paid off. By sophomore year, she had risen to the top of her class. She also joined a Chinese language club. The process of tutoring beginners deepened her fluency. When graduation came, she was rewarded with a full scholarship to pursue a master's degree at Southwest University in Chongqing. Amid the excitement of her new chapter, Lan took on a part-time job to help cover her expenses. She began translating for a Sino-Vietnamese import-export company. There she got her first taste of the cross-border trade industry. Upon arriving in the bustling metropolis of Chongqing, Lan was immediately struck by its modernity.
My
first impression of Chongqing was of a vibrant, modern city. Its deep cultural heritage, mountainous layout, and bold cuisine left a strong impression on me.
Nestled at the foot of Jinyun Mountain along the Jialing River, Southwest University, a century-old institution, became her academic home. But another challenge soon arose: the winter.
I'm from northern Vietnam, where winters are mild. Temperatures rarely drop below 10 degrees Celsius. Here in Chongqing, winter hits hard, 2 to 6 degrees. It felt freezing.
As Lan was easing into her new life, fate intervened. One evening, while having dinner with a friend at a restaurant, a young man sitting at the next table with his friends struck up a conversation with them. They exchanged contact information. He is a Chongqing local named Yin Hua. An IT whiz, he quickly became Lan's go-to person whenever her laptop had issues. What began as a simple offer of help gradually blossomed into a deep friendship and, eventually, love. Though Lan had planned to return to Hanoi after graduation, it seemed life had other ideas. A few months after finishing her master's program, they got married. They held wedding ceremonies in both Hanoi and Chongqing.
As for our Vietnamese traditions, the groom must bring betrothal gifts, including betel nuts.
In Vietnamese culture, betel nuts and leaves are often used during engagements and weddings.
This comes from an ancient folk tale where betel nuts symbolize deep, eternal love.
After their wedding, the couple settled in Chongqing and began chasing a shared dream, starting their own business. Their first venture was an online clothing store, but they struggled to keep pace with the rapidly shifting trends. After 2 years, it unfortunately folded. Then, another business opportunity emerged. Lan began to notice a growing trend. Many Vietnamese people were turning to traditional Chinese medicine and wellness products. Herbs, teas, and agricultural goods were gaining popularity.
Being Vietnamese and living in China gave me a unique advantage in facilitating trade. I saw potential in bridging the markets of both countries.
In 2015, the couple launched a trading company focused on exporting agricultural products to Vietnam. They personally traveled to different parts of China in search of quality suppliers. Meanwhile, as they built their business, Lan also continued to take on translation work to support the family.
Initially, I worked solo, but as client demands grew, especially for more formal professional translation services, I decided to launch a proper translation agency.
Initially, it was just Lan and her friend from Thailand working at the agency. Today, it has grown into a global team of over 1,000 translators, covering more than 100 languages and offering full-scale interpretation services. Meanwhile, her trade business has also flourished, exporting up to 1,000 tons of products to Vietnam every year. Among the best sellers are caterpillar fungus from Xizang Autonomous Region and red dates from Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region.
Over the years, I've seen Chinese products gain immense popularity around the world, especially in Vietnam. Looking ahead, we want to bring more Chinese goods into the Vietnamese market and introduce Vietnamese products into China. This dual circulation model can not only expand our business, but also deepen trade ties between our two countries.
In the midst of running 2 companies and raising 2 young children, Lan didn't slow down. In 2017, driven to advance her career, she enrolled in a PhD program at Southwest University. The first year of the program demanded daily attendance. That meant a 70-kilometer round trip, about 3 hours by bus. Lan had to wake up at 5 a.m., rush to campus, then dash to her office afterward. Juggling her studies, family and business, She often worked late into the night, sometimes until 2 or 3 a.m. She recalls catching naps on the bus in between. But the hard work paid off once again. In 2021, Lan was honored with the title of Outstanding International PhD Graduate by the university. Now in her mid-30s, Lan's mission has expanded beyond business. She hopes to connect with more Vietnamese expats in Chongqing and help them navigate life in China.
就是刚结婚了之后嘛，在重庆那时候这个网络也没那么发达。
When I got married and settled in Chongqing, the internet wasn't as developed as it is now. It was incredibly hard to find fellow Vietnamese. It felt like I was the only one here. I kept wondering, how can I find others like me? How can I bring them together?
And so, a community group was born. In 2022, the Vietnamese Association in Chongqing-Sichuan was established and Lan was elected as its chairperson. The association aims to strengthen ties among Vietnamese compatriots in Chongqing and neighbouring Sichuan province, and create a space for mutual support and cultural exchange. According to Lan, at present around 600 Vietnamese people live and work in Chongqing. The community organises various cultural events, including Lunar New Year gatherings to Reunification Day celebrations, ensuring that no Vietnamese person in Chongqing ever has to feel alone again. More recently, the community launched a business association to better support Vietnamese expats doing business in the region.
我发现有一些越南呢同乡们，他们是更善于去做这个贸易的。
I've noticed many of our fellow Vietnamese are particularly good at doing business. That's when I thought, why not create a better platform tailored to trade? A place where we could exchange market insights, share resources, and turn our collective knowledge into real opportunities.
Having spent nearly 15 years in Chongqing, Lan is impressed by the rapid development of the city in various aspects. Lan recalls that in the past, few Vietnamese people had even heard of Chongqing. But with growing partnerships and effective promotion, the city is now recognized in Vietnam as dynamic, open and full of opportunity.
重庆最大的变化是城市的现代化程度不断提高。
The city has rapidly modernized, its commercial hubs are booming, and it's become more open to global trade. Transportation is now more convenient than ever, and daily life is supported by increasingly well-developed infrastructure.
In January, Lan was honored as one of the 100 outstanding overseas Vietnamese by Vietnam's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. She was invited to a state banquet in Hanoi. There, she met with the country's top leaders and shared her journey and insights.
我们的长远目标是可以通过同乡会的组织和活动。
In the long run, we aim to facilitate information sharing and collaborative development through our activities in the community, ultimately contributing to Vietnam-China relations. We also hope to become grassroots ambassadors of friendship between our nations.
With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Thank you for listening. If you're interested in hearing more fascinating stories about people connected to China, be sure to find us at radio.cgtn.com or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. Simply search for Footprints to discover more stories anytime, anywhere. This is Bob Jones. Until next time, bye for now.